everyone, it's Silva, and in today's video I'll be talking about my Garmin InReach Explorer Plus. So I've had this a couple years now and I thought it would be a good time to go over the reasons why I got it, all the different specs, prices, how you use it a little bit. I don't use all the features on it. Let's get into it. Alright, so this is a satellite messaging system, and it does also have the SOS, which is the personal locator beacon, and that is located here. And it does have a cover over the personal locator beacon, and then if you need it, you would press the button. And we'll get into more about that in just a bit. So first I wanted to go over the reasons why I bought it and why I think everyone should have some sort of, even just if it's just the SOS button. But I do a lot of solo hiking and a lot of solo backpacking, and when I first started doing it, my family was concerned and they wanted a way for me to have an emergency locator button should something happen to me and I didn't have cell service, and a way for me to communicate with them. And this is a two-way communication device, so I am able to send a message and receive a message. So when I don't have cell service and I get to camp at night, I can send them a message saying I'm at camp. And when I was on the AT, I would say I'm at this campsite, I'm at this mile on the trail, and it would send out a GPS coordinate to my husband so that he would always know where I was, so that if there was a long delay in communication because something did happen, he knew the last place I was. And so it's a really great safety feature. And it made my family feel a lot safer knowing that they had a way to reach me if I didn't have cell service, and that I could check in with them. So I would use this at night when I didn't have cell service to send my family messages, made it to camp. And in the morning when I was heading out, I would usually send another message saying, back on trail. Another feature of this that you can use besides the messaging and the SOS is the tracking, and you can have it set up so that at every 10-minute intervals or 30-minute, all the way up to 4 hours, so that it would send out your GPS coordinates to whoever you chose. It could be just my husband, it could be my whole family. You could have people following you, on Facebook, and it would send out coordinates. I never wanted to do that because I didn't want anybody knowing where I exactly was, but I do sometimes use it for sending out to my husband. It does take more of your battery if you're using the tracking, so I don't use it a lot, only if I'm somewhere really remote. I didn't use it on the AT as it wasn't always that remote. I just used the messaging portion, but it is a nice feature to have so that your family can kind of keep a live update and see where you're at. You are able to message right from the device. I had it paired via Bluetooth with my cell phone. It's much easier to use the Earthmate app, and I'll show you a picture of what that looks like here. You are able to send messages right from the phone. Maybe I'll get a better picture and insert it here, but you can see you use the buttons to go up and down to be able to send that message. So instead, that can be very cumbersome. And so what I do is I have it paired to my phone via Bluetooth using the Earthmate app, and it's much easier to send messages that way. Basically, you just send them like you would a regular text message. Much easier to communicate using the Earthmate app. So as you can see on the screen, different specs for this device is the dimensions are 2.7 by 6.5 by 1.5. The display screen is 1.4 inches wide by 1.9 inches high. Now the weight says 7.5 ounces. I weighed mine on the scale and it weighed 7.9 ounces. The next part where it says waterproof IPX7, I wasn't sure what that meant. So if you click on the link, it tells you that, as you can see here, it withstands incremental exposure to water up to 1 meter for up to 30 minutes. It also is okay in splashes, rain, snow, or showering. Now, mine was never affected. I wore it all the time on the AT, so it has been soaking wet and in the rain for days, and it has been fine. As a rechargeable internal lithium-ion battery, and the battery life can be a little confusing. So it says up to 100 hours if you're using the 10-minute tracking mode. So if you're turning it off and on and only using it when needed, it can last up to 30 days or longer. Usually I just kept mine on in case I needed to hit the SOS button for some reason, and it did last a few days, being on 24 hours a day. I would say it lasted up to that 70-75 hour mark before I would have to recharge it. So the SOS button is on the side. It does have a covering so that you don't accidentally hit it. You would just pull that down and press the button. And that will send your GPS coordinates to search and rescue. I've never had to use that button. I hope I never have to use that button, but it is nice feeling knowing that it is there if there was a really bad emergency and I needed to use it for myself or someone I was hiking with or someone that I was hiking near. So it is, you know, kind of puts your mind at ease when you have that in case you need it. Now, pressing that button will get search and rescue out to you. It is not an immediate thing. They're not going to be there in seconds. You know, depending on where you are, will depend on how fast they can get to you. If you're in a very remote area, then it's going to take them longer to get there. It is also a very expensive button to press, so I would caution anyone to only use it if you have no other options. The InReach Explorer also does include a compass and an altimeter. Those are features I really don't use on the Garmin. All right, so let's talk price. This is, like I said, the Garmin InReach Explorer Plus, and it does sell for around $450. There are some other expenses that go along with that we should talk about. So once you purchase this, you do need a subscription for it to work when you're in the backcountry or for anywhere for that matter. So there are 3 basic subscription plans for an individual. If you see as you can see on the screen, I have it set right now. It is winter and I'm not out as much and I don't go quite as far, so I do have it set on safety, which runs at $11.95 a month for the subscription. It does have the unlimited SOS feature on all 3 plans. This plan allows you to send and receive 10 text messages a month. So if I send out a message to my family of my location and they all respond to me, my husband and all 3 kids, that would be 5 text messages right there. So you want to be careful sending out messages. And then it has unlimited check-in messages. So you can preset messages like I made it to camp or at the car and send that preset message off. And that is an unlimited feature. So anytime you go over that 10 messages, it's 50 extra cents per message. The recreation, you can see, still has the unlimited SOS, and this one has 40 text messages per month, unlimited check-ins, and this one has the tracking at 10-minute intervals or longer. The expedition, which I did use when I was on the AT because I wanted to have unlimited text messages with the SOS, unlimited check-in messages, and I wanted to have the tracking available if I wanted it. So those are, and that one's the most expensive at $49.95 a month. So those are the different plans you can use. There's also a freedom plan instead of a yearly subscription like this, where you pay monthly as you need it. So if you're going to go on just a month-long trip, you can do just a month at a time. It's a little bit more expensive per month that way, but if you're only going to use a month, why set up the yearly subscription? Now, I don't use every feature that's available on my Explorer like I thought I would. I bought this one because it had the screen. The Mini had just come out at the time when I purchased this one, and it didn't have the screen where I could see the map and do the messaging right on the unit here. So I thought that would be, invaluable at the time, because I don't use the tracking very often. I don't use the maps for navigation. Typically I use Far Out, which used to be Gut Hooks, or I use All Trails. So I use those right on my smartphone and not the Garmin map features. Mostly I use it for messaging and for the SOS button. So if I had it to do again, I probably would purchase the new updated Mini 2. They still sell the first version of the Mini, which sells for $350. The Mini 2 is now $400, and of course this one, like I said, was $450. Now the weight savings of the Mini 2, though, that one weighs 3.5 ounces, whereas this one that I have now is 7.9 ounces. So there's quite a bit of weight savings. Is it worth it for me to change it at this point? Probably not. One other thing I did notice is sometimes it is hard to get a message out if I'm under very heavy tree cover. It does go, if there's only a little bit of tree cover, a little bit of leaves, it will connect to the satellite overhead without a problem. But if I'm under very heavy tree cover, it will keep trying to send the message until you're out from under that tree cover or out from under whatever you're in. So it can wear down the battery if it keeps trying over and over to send your message. If you have any questions or comments about the Garmin InReach Explorer, please feel free to put them in the comments below. I will do my best to answer them. I do hope this information helped you if you're searching for a new Garmin satellite device. Thanks so much for following along. I hope you all have a fantastic week, and I'll see you in the next video.